That's Genevieve. And, well, we're definitely very different people. One of the situations, people just assume. They have these assumptions, and they don't know nothing. Well, no, they're all liars at that point, because they all know something. Like with Ariana, this is about 6 years of Ariana saying, I don't know nothing. I can testify that you're not violent, that you were down at Starbucks. I can testify that I was in San Francisco when this stuff happened. I'm like, well, here's the thing. Did I reach out to you for help? That's what I'm asking. See, that's the thing. I reached out to a lot of people for help both before and after Natalie was killed. A lot of people. Now with Ariana, that's one of the people that I did try reaching out to before Natalie was killed, but I didn't get a reply until after Natalie was killed. I sent Ariana a thing about autism on the 20th of December. This is like 8 days before Natalie Bollinger got shot in the head. 9 days. I had sent Ariana a thing about autism so that I was hoping somebody would listen to it and try to understand it, try to learn about it. But like with many people, Ariana got her own problems. It's a little bit strange to me for somebody to identify as a woman, but to want to retain the male parts. Which has been a off and on thing. I do want them, I don't want them, I do want them, I don't want them. But that's somebody else's personal stuff. Now, Ariana, well, it's one of them folks that, how do I say this? There was a lot of homosexual males who found me attractive. When it came to people hitting on me, there was never a shortage of men straight up throwing themselves at me. It's easy to tell when a guy is hitting on you. And of course, when you call somebody and they actually fess up to that and are admitting that, it does help. Now with Ariana was of the belief that I needed Ariana to speak up about specifically the situation with Natalie surrounding her disappearance and her death, and no, that's not what I need you for. I mean, it sure would be nice, but the thing is that, did I go to you for help? So I got it recorded why Ariana, at least some of it, what Ariana had going on, her own personal bullshit going on, just like I got my own personal bullshit. And a lot of these people, their trauma is the reason that they never came forward, or at least it's their excuse for never coming forward. Most of the time, it's not the trauma itself, it's what it does to somebody when they start to internalize that trauma. After going through a harrowing experience, trying to go to the police about being raped, and they put you through hell, and then somebody gets a hold of you and says, hey, I'm going through hell at the hands of the police, I had to go in by myself, this is hell, I can't do this myself. That person who's been through that trauma that you're getting a hold of, trying to get help from, well, they're reliving their own trauma at that point. They want to dip out. For a lot of those victims, there's one of two things happens. Either A, they go, you know what? Nobody helped me when I needed it, so go fuck yourself. Or two, they go, you know what? That's some fucked up shit. I just had to go through that myself. Or it was just me. I'll help you. I'll speak out. I'll do the right thing. I'm not going to use other people doing evil shit and doing the wrong thing to me as an excuse to do evil shit and wrong things to you. If you're willing to admit that you got problems with the drink, Oh, that right there makes you more honest, in my opinion, and more worthy of listening to than somebody who wants to pretend that they're perfect. Before we allow somebody to be a politician, we ought to ask them some important questions. Like, hey, did you shit your pants in band class? 8th grade? If they admit that they're not perfect, I might like them a little more. If they weren't so busy wasting money to try to cover up the fact that they're not perfect, these are our taxpayer dollars. A lot of you guys, you want to make excuses for these people. You want to use the Bible as an excuse to ignore the law, then you want to use the law to ignore the Bible, depending on which one suits you at that particular point in time. Any cop who says he's a Christian is a liar. You cannot serve both masters. Render unto Caesar that which is Caesar, and render unto God that which is God's. Well, they're quite a bit different than what's going on now. So's the context. A lot of y'all want to use the book of Romans as an excuse to do some fucked up shit. When I called Genevieve, I knew that there was drinking involved because of the topic of conversation, the way that she was speaking, the slurring of certain words. And of course, when I talk about something that I'm going through, she wants to make it about her, and you think I'm doing this and you think I'm doing that. No, I don't. I wasn't talking about you. But that's one of the things that drinking does. It's the oxygen deprivation, and it gets you stuck in that circular thought pattern. If that circular thought pattern is about you and whatever your particular want is at that point in time. It's kind of like the compass for Jack Sparrow. Like, you know, the mystical compass that points at whatever you want most in the world. So it's going around in circles, and he's supposed to want something, but he's an alcoholic. So the compass isn't pointing at what it is that their journey is for, right? It's just going around in circles. So what does he do? He takes a drink of rum. That helps out with the alcoholism. Fed himself that selfishness. Now he doesn't want rum more than whatever else it is. No, I don't even remember what it was in that movie. None of these people are perfect, and a lot of them, they have bad assumptions or assumptions based on low self-esteem or alcoholism or drug use. They all know I don't do drugs. They all know I don't drink. The thing that was good to all of them. That's why they feel free and liberal about telling me things they don't tell other people. And some of them have crushes on me. Now, don't get me wrong, there's females that have made it blatantly obvious that they wanted to have more than just a friendship or more than just a passing hello. The problem is every single one of those females was underage, and every single one of those females did so when I was definitely way too old for them. Just because a little 13 or 14-year-old girl wants to have sex with me, thinks that she's more mature because she's not a boy, that magically this is going to make some big magic age difference. And some of these little girls have said stupid shit to me like, you know, only 200 years ago you could have married me. Holy fuck. Why would you want to marry somebody like me? I don't want to have sex with you. I'm an old fart. I'm not interested in any of that, especially not with a little kid. Like, you are straight up trolling for pedophiles, little girl. You need to go away. Anyway, I walked over here to get a soda pop. I needed to get away from my vehicle for a few. With Molly now haunting this parking lot. Like, Jesus fuck, why couldn't she just stay over at Fred Meyer's? Anyway, I still got about 30 minutes of the recording with that officer, and you know, he didn't fuck up too incredibly bad in the part that we've got recorded and put on the internet already. And we've got it recorded, it's a matter of putting it on the internet, which takes time because I have to do it a very odd way of doing it. Now, those of you in houses that want to keep giving me these ideas, why don't you just do this, why don't you just do that? I tell you what, you provide me with the internet, the roof over my head, where I can actually sit down and work on that shit. And I'll actually be able to do it. I don't have the roof or the electrical outlet. The roof is important, especially here. We could get shitty ass rain at any point in time that wants to fall for days and days and days. This is a rainforest. Washington State is a lot more prevalent, but it still does descend this far south. Also, the redwoods do ascend this far north. Those things use a lot of water. They're also really good for ocean travel, believe it or not. It's rot resistant. Seawater rot resistant. A lot of benches are made out of either cedar or redwood because both of those are so resistant to the elements. I did scan the parking lot to make sure that she wasn't in it before I got out of my vehicle and walked over there. I don't want her playing fucking victim because she happened to see me. My car is not moved. It is parked where it's been parked. And obviously, when I saw her in the parking lot, I did not make any attempt to get out of my fucking vehicle. So, with Genevieve, I explained, hey, forget about the stuff with Natalie. The thing is, did I come to you for help after Natalie was killed? What's the answer? The answer is yes. Of course, I was trying to get help, both before and after Natalie was killed. People kept on wanting to tell me I needed to just ignore it and forget about it and let it go, but I'm still being abused over it, so obviously their advice is shit. As far as mandated reporters go, when we go in alone, we get blown off. People do not make the efforts that they would make if somebody actually cares about us and goes in with us. And who cared enough to go in with me? Well, that would be nobody. The ones who I had to basically twist their fucking arms. Well, thank goodness for Molly. Molly Smith of Chapel, Nebraska, or Sidney, Nebraska. She didn't know shit about what was going on, but she knew who I am in person. Getting that evidence back that she's got, though, she was holding it for safekeeping. I needed that evidence because it does have evidence on there against Scott DaCosta and his deputies. But according to the lady at Pumpkin Pantry, Molly Smith never took it there. Now, in order for me to make a report, I need to be able to make an oral report. I've made written reports, they've gone absolutely nowhere. I am allowed to make an oral report. It is not required to make a written report, and yes, you can. A written report is optional. Making a report, depending on your duties, well, if you're a mandated reporter, a written report is required. So if you have a disability that prevents you from being able to do it that way, you probably shouldn't get a job where you're a mandated reporter. Found a little miniature shovel over there. Anyway, I'm about to start up the recording with Genevieve. Ariana Genevieve, anyway. Ariana has said that she's willing to testify, but that she doesn't know. I know you don't know nothing. I'm also aware of why you don't know nothing. You didn't bother to find out what was going on. I know that you didn't bother to find out what was going on because you were going through your own personal hell. I also know that I've been going through a hell of my own, and that's never stopped me from speaking up when it makes a difference, or taking the time to listen to the victim. I record things and post them so I can prove I'm telling the truth. Not for your entertainment, but to create effective change. To stop these things from happening to us. Also, there's a few people that I know that they're pretty light-skinned. They tell me they're black. Well, that's fine. I had a guy who's very dark-skinned, extremely dark-skinned, tell me he was black once, like I didn't know. I told him it's all right, I'm colorblind. Get something to eat. We'll pull this out and we'll get ready to play for you what it is I was just telling you about. People expecting me to call 911 when an issue happens? No. Someone needs to be there with me. Someone needs to make the call with me. When the crime happens, there needs to be somebody I can call and say, hey, I need someone to make a call with the police with me right now. This shit needs to stop. Enough of this harassing innocent men because of crazy bitches like Molly. Also, if you've got your own problems, if you're going to tell me about your problems, it better be because you want help with them. Because if you don't want help with them, you're wasting both of our time. Because you're filling space that could be otherwise used for making the world a better place for both of us. I would love to give Ariana a hug. No, I'm not comfortable with being hit on by, well, I'm not comfortable being hit on by anybody, actually. So it's not a LGBT hatred thing. It's a gross thing. I don't want to swap snot. It's gross. Good to be rid of you. Thanks for coming to visit. Stay out of trouble or don't get caught. Remember, you are your brother's keeper and no victim left behind.